I'm Ritika Gupta. Welcome to the program. We begin with some breaking news. Live from Washington, this is BBC News. Hello, I'm Ritika Gupta and welcome to the program where we begin with Israel and Hamas moving forward with their final exchange of hostages and prisoners tonight. We begin in Germany, where conservative parties appear to have secured a decisive victory in snap elections. So talk to me about the reaction from the ground from Germany's party's leaders. We heard earlier from Friedrich Merz addressing the public. Macron's trip to DC, that seemed like an effort to almost rein Trump in or, try to prevent a rushed Ukraine deal. What do you think his objectives were, and do you think he was successful in them? Welcome to Business Today, live from New York. I'm Ritika Gupta, and you see U.S. stocks have opened in the red, following on from falls across Asia and Europe. On Friday, investors are grappling with the possibility of a U.S. government shutdown. This giant new port is a game changer, not just for Peru, but for the wider Latin American region. And at a time when the newly elected President Donald Trump is looking to clamp down on trade with China, China has set its eyes on Peru, making Peru a strategic piece on the global geopolitical chessboard. Talk to me about your mission, coming at a time, of course, when Republicans are divided over the aid being sent to Ukraine. What kind of conversations are you having with conservative policymakers? US President Donald Trump convened the first meeting of his cabinet on Wednesday, but the most prominent attendee, besides the president himself, was his senior advisor, none other than tech billionaire Elon Musk, someone who isn't a member of the cabinet. US stocks are rallying here on Wall Street at the open on a decisive outcome, and a Donald Trump victory means the Trump trade is back on. We're seeing dollar strength, Bitcoin hitting fresh record highs, and treasuries lower. Here in Adams County, Pennsylvania, growing sustains the local economy. The area is located in the heart of a fertile valley, ideal for cultivating everything from flowers to fruit and vegetables. But the vitality of the region's agriculture industry and its ability to meet its labor needs rely heavily on foreign labor. This is my local market in New York City, and as you can see, there's no shortage of eggs. But if you look at the prices, they are eye-watering. So take a look at this, nearly $12 for a dozen eggs. Here, $16. That is double what it was previously. This week, several of Starbucks' policies have returned to its chains in the US and Canada, part of CEO Brian Niccol's massive task of reversing declining sales and traffic. We'll be back at the top of the hour. Stay with us here on BBC News. Closing out the session at 1.98%, had been as high as 2%. So really back to the highs of the year. And of course, high yields don't bode well for tech. What also doesn't bode so well is that prospect of higher inflation. The Kremlin now says 89 soldiers were killed, the largest such loss it has acknowledged in the war. It blamed the soldiers' mobile phone use for exposing their location. And we didn't think that we'd be here now with this debt contagion, but here we are. So this is China's largest developer, as you mentioned, Country Garden. They posted a 96% slump in profits. This is a big day for JP Morgan across the US, as you mentioned. They're going to be opening their offices to workers on a voluntary basis. Many of them were shut during the pandemic. I'm actually outside the New York headquarters. That has been open throughout. The real story was in the oil market, where we saw WTI at one point as high as $130 a barrel, then back to $119. So a lot of volatility in today's session. Boris Johnson bowed to the inevitable today. He resigned as British Prime Minister after a succession of scandals and the rebellion of his own cabinet. And this really speaks to the rift that we are seeing within the Democratic Party between those progressives and moderates. Progressives wanting to tie this to the reconciliation bill for higher taxes and spending. And a lot of this is down to its Old Navy brand. Now, this was meant to be its kind of star performer and lead the engine of growth, but it seems that it's in trouble. For all Hollywood's talk of diversity, a UCLA report shows that Asians account for just 6% of leads, 4% of writers and 7% of directors in all major film categories. Peloton is slashing prices for its 3 major hardware products whilst boosting the cost of its subscription, part of a comeback plan that centers on generating more recurring revenue. The message from Wall Street: expect an uneven year in trading. A much anticipated global recession is likely going to finally land, making it hard for financial markets to rebound from a punishing 2022.